Hello Videoland, it's been a while, I've missed you. Well, this is a delayed topic. I just came upon this. Now, excuse me, I was not planning to produce any more videos based around this topic of the whole occult debunking kind of thing, and generally pointing out the general idiocy within the New Age community. It has actually spawned, when I thought back upon this, it actually spawned an idea for a video series. I will digress no further. Well, it would be a couple of years now that I got in an online communication with somebody around I believe it was a Thelema group. Now, for those of you who don't know what Thelema is, should we say it is an occult system, and that is neither here nor there. Well, I entered the conversation with this person, and he talked about how desperate he was to acquire this so-called secret knowledge, and it later transpired that he revealed that he had donated an awful lot of money. In fact, he had run up his Visa cards in cultivating this interest. He talks about I just need this, more of these materials, more of these lectures and such. The conversation went on for many hours. I tried my best to make him see sense. I asked him, I suggested, wouldn't it be more pragmatic to take care of your living standards, to improve your finances? I asked, and I probed quite carefully into his situation. It turned out that indeed he'd put himself on the poverty line, supplying himself with these classes, this or that so-called enlightened master had promised him this or that. Now, I don't really wish to do this. It was so hard to hammer home the point. A point that even, should you choose to read the works of Aleister Crowley, who developed Thelema. I'm not a neophyte or any kind of member or proponent of this system due to a lack of knowledge of it. I believe it has clearly been stated in his works that people have to develop a practical skill. They have to develop their worldly life first. He or perhaps his teachers have chosen quite strategically, quite tactfully, we can say, to withhold this from him. So, as I said, I wanted to hammer the message through. I was not getting anywhere. I used the famous Facebook block function. I said that I can't help you. I said, you have to help yourself. I'm not going to be dragged into this. I don't know what happened. I'm tempted to unblock this person after many years to find out what this person has. Now, this will sound awful. Someone who goes to that length has to be disturbed, right? And I have come across a lot of these people who will just believe in anything. And they're rather desperate for a quick fix. So they will enter into these groups. These quacks are hanging around like predators, waiting for such people. So for some evidence of the sort of people that this or that various occult system appeals to, I believe that Aleister Crowley himself wrote a book called The Book of Lies, which is making fun of his proponents. In his even in the books in which he is not making fun of them, you read the words of his neophytes applauding and sort of worshipping at the feet of this master, describing insane, unbelievable feats of wizardry and such. I have no parts, I have no real investment in any of these systems. I do think, however, that's my... At the time, it felt like the right thing to do. I should have tried harder to make this person see sense. Now, I'm going back into the new video series. Before I suggest, I do include myself in this category of I've also been somewhat inspired by far more mature YouTube video makers in their correspondences. As you may or may not know, the one or two people who are subscribers to this channel, I have had various very strange correspondences with people, and so I wish to create a series, maybe analysing the certain cultural demographic that I'm sure that my few subscribers will be well aware of, and I don't include you people in this category, of, for want of a better word or synonym, losers. My brief time socialising and observing this Thelema group and other groups brought me to understand something that wasn't entirely a surprise, though I thought perhaps the fact that Crowley's books, which I assume that they have attempted to read, require a higher intellect to understand. I'm not suggesting that they contain a seed of truth. That the level of the lack of standards amongst the people, how they communicate, how devout they are. I knew that there were devout people within these occult systems. Thus, I've never joined an occult society or coven or whatever it is. Not even for the sake of curiosity. I don't like the idea of it. I do not like the idea of cults, sects, anything resembling that. These people are flagrantly uneducated, are not even attempting to write English, which it seems to be their first language properly, are acting as I said, in a devout, dogmatic way. That even myself, with a layman's, or perhaps a higher layman's knowledge of Thelema, whatever it attempts to be, whatever it suggested it might become for the user of it, these people have missed the point. These people are most certainly servants. I mean, of course, what is Thelema? I may go into more detail about what it is. As I said, I'm not an adherent of any of these systems. These people are simply losers in all of these New Age circles. The majority are complete losers. They are people affected with a borderline personality disorder, plus the lack of insight, the lack of will to sort of improve themselves in vaguely practical means. They want these magical systems as a quick fix. They are not going to see somebody who may know a little about psychology, a therapist, a priest, priests are. I'm not claiming to be a member of any particular religion, but I know that various denominations of Christian priests are trained as psychologists. They know the workings of the human mind. They have to. They should. This is the 21st century. It isn't just the spirit that they're aiming to sort of calm, to understand. It's the mind, the workings of the mind. It has mechanisms. Utterly questionable. I've met the best examples of these proponents of these systems, those who study these systems. And they're few. They're very few indeed. It seems to me that everybody, the majority, are either on the make or are these sad followers. So the loser series, I think people who are deeply immersed within magical and or occult systems, they fit into this. The bag of magic beans they expect us to believe will cause a giant beanstalk to grow from them. I think part 1 will be these occult persons. Part 2, now this is essentially an occult system that does not reveal itself to be an occult system. Another group that are, I won't say they are uneducated, but I'll say they are highly unpleasant. Various forms of typology and the methods that they use to completely screw people's minds up. That'll be part 2. Typology losers. Again, people who want a quick fix. Newsflash, typology is not for that. It is not for personal inquiry. It is for understanding other people on the whole. Why things work, why things don't. It is not meant to be a panacea, an X-ray of the personality. They're not personality types. So these are variously intertwined occult systems. And this is not part 1 of the Losers series. This is a roundabout sort of outline of what I am irritated by. The proponents of various typologies, and for those of you who don't know what typology is, it's the suggestion that people fit into 16, I'm not going to say personality types, we can say character moulds. And of course, like everything else, people have their own favoured school. The most venomous of these people I've experienced so far, because they claim to know that they are the initiated, are people who are studying the Eastern European form of this Jungian, the Carl Jung typology system, socionics. In fact, I can include all typology people on the whole. They fit into two categories. A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. That is the socionics people. You have to study rather in depth to get a greater grip of socionics. The system itself is sound. Then you have the in between, the people who are fans, the fanboys and fangirls, who have done a brief test on various websites. One that comes to mind is Human Metrics. They may even have actually, there's a vague chance they may have bought David Kirsty's books, and if they have, then they earn a few respect points for that. And you have the Myers-Briggs group, who are the massive, that is the largest form of typology in the world, because I think one of the reasons is that somehow, I don't know why, in the United States, that the various churches have latched onto MBTI. MBTI is a very profitable business, and it is the services of Myers-Briggs counsellors, whatever you want to call them, is great. It falls into the quick fix category. They wish to do something new with team building. They wish to understand the horde of minions that they probably never will, and to place people into their own little categories. So they'll employ a typologist within the Myers-Briggs system to tell people which type they belong to and which allotment of the workplace they are best suited. So, and as I said, you have the Myers-Briggs people who may graduate into understanding socionics when they are shamed into realising the flaws within Myers-Briggs. And then you have the Myers-Briggs people who shun socionics, and socionics which shuns Myers-Briggs. And Enneagram, which everybody seems to like in some respects, and all of these systems will be used by sick people to gaslight others. So the idea is if somebody is very, very certain of their particular type, and it may be for very good reasons, if you, just for the sake of wishing to control people, you will tell them you are not this, you are that, because of this, and generally, as gaslighting by definition, is to make them question things about themselves. Doesn't it sound a little bit like the New Age movements and cult leaders? But with knowledge of socionics, or MBTI, that is larger, or it may seem to be more complex than one's neighbour, you can make people believe anything. Yeah. So I don't have any preference for any of these systems. I think they all have their merits. They all have things that I don't agree with. I'm just for the fun of it, because other people will be made happy by it. I don't expect to garner many views by promoting these things, but I may do a typology series. I may do a Jungian series. Seeing as there seems to be something of a lack there, and I wish to improve my generally flagging broadcasting skills, as you can tell, I may do a series on this. I may express all of the systems in a positive light. Kersey, very interesting if you want to know about the 4 temperaments. Socionics, if you wish to know how depressing it is to be each and every type and why you don't get on with your significant other. MBTI, if you wish a quick introduction to the types. You even have the Linda Berens system, which is an in-depth understanding of Myers-Briggs. Look into all of these things. Kersey is great if you want an introduction to generally the temperaments, but the types are badly described. In socionics, the types will not be badly described, will seemingly be well described, but you really have to search for the correct definitions, and it's depressing. So take your pick. I'm going to blow my own trumpet before I broadcast. As I said, I'm going to be recording a loser series, and I'm going to use myself as a great example of fucking, excuse me for swearing, damned losers. Because I know how it is, and I have some idea about how to get out of it, how to get out of this cycle. I've read enough self-help books to realise that even I can be helped. So, hence I think it's not a fake smile on my face. So there is hope. So that's it. That's been a stream of consciousness, and there was a point. The person who couldn't be helped, and perhaps he was helped. I don't know. Don't give. This is the moral of the story. Do not give all of your money to wizards. Pay the rent. Have enough food in the fridge, in the cupboard. buy your girlfriend or boyfriend a nice present if you can afford that. Feed the dogs. Don't do the most important thing first. Look after your practical life. Look after your worldly existence first. Maybe you'll find some kind of spirituality, but if you're in poverty in the Western world, it's very unlikely that it will work. Sort your mind out first. That's been all, and it's been a pleasure. Okay, good night.